In the music industry, groups often consist of buddies who share similar interests and grew up together. However, this story is quite different because a well-known producer requested 7 prisoners for an experiment. The centerpiece of today's video is all about the Escorts. Now before we start, let's be sure to leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and push that notification button to be sure you won't miss out on any more content. Now, without further ado, let's cue that intro. This group's start was quite different, as all members of the group were locked up together in Rahway State Prison in New Jersey. All 7 members, Reginald Haynes, Lawrence Franklin, Robert Arrington, William Duggar, Stephen Carter, Frank Hurd, and Marion Murphy participated in a prison talent show where they caught the attention of songwriter, producer, and singer from MOTOWN George Kerr. Somehow Kerr was allowed to bring recording equipment into the prison, which explains the less than sterling quality of their songs. While trying his best to clean up the tracks while at home, the project lasted from 1973 to 1974 and resulted in 5 singles. All We Need Is Another Chance Parts 1 and 2.
All we need is another chance. Please give it to us. Give it to
One day when I was producing the OJs, Linda Jones, my artist whom I recorded a million seller for, Hypnotized, she came to me and says, "George, I'm going down to the Rahway State Prison because John is locked up in the prison and he's doing a talent show. And I would like for you to go down there with me." So I said, "Linda, that's great." I said, "I'll bring my wife with me." So we went down and we had to put all of our belongings on the counter. We went through 2 or 3 gates, and then, as Reginald Haynes said, we were in the middle of the belly of the beast. That's what they call the Rahway State Prison. There was a talent show, and this group came across the stage. They call themselves the Escorts, and the reason why they call themselves the Escorts is because in a maximum security prison, an inmate cannot leave his cell unless he is escorted by a prison guard. That's why they call it themselves the Escorts. All of these groups came across and they started to sing, and they was being comedians, and I was very, very bored. None sounded like anything. Then the guy said, "Ladies and gentlemen, we give you the Escorts." And when the Escorts came across the stage, I said, "Oh my God." I said, "I love the sound of this group." So Linda says, "George, what you think about John?" I said, your brother sounds good, but I did not get the goose pimples that I got when you were singing. I got goose pimples on my arms when that group, the Escorts, was singing. I say, I got to get a way to get into this prison to record this group. And then, as I got home, it kept ringing in my ears, this group. So then, I went and started to record the OJs. And coming home, I kept thinking about this singing group. So I said, what I'm going to do, I'm going to start to write letters to the prison officials and see can I get permission to go in. It came to about 520 letters that I had written to the prison officials trying to get in.
The Escorts multi-man lineup provided for a full harmony sound. The record saw airtime in Jersey, New York, Philly, Virginia, Maryland, and a few other surrounding states, mostly along the East Coast, but it never really took off. The record receiving radio play and having record releases gave the group tons of hope. Kerr chose the remake route for singles 2 and 3 with Look Over Your Shoulder.
Girl, you gonna find me all the way.
by the time I get to Phoenix.
Probably stop off at lunch to give me a call.
These songs didn't cut the do too well, and the Escorts closed out 1973 with 2 more Curb productions previously done by the OJs. I'll Be Sweeter Tomorrow.
You called me.
Like, I'm so glad I found you.
Each day without you is like a week of living in darkness never did.
But once again, the original songs reigned supreme. That same year, the group released their debut album, All We Need Is Another Chance, which peaked at number 41 on the Billboard Top R&B Albums charts. Kerr usually managed at least one R&B top 20 hit with every group he managed, but for some reason he couldn't get the Escorts that high on the charts. Maybe it was due to the group being in prison and not being able to promote themselves, but who knows? Prior to working with the Escorts, Kerr enjoyed success with the Moments, Linda Jones, the Whatnots, Barbara English, and many others. The label issued one more single in the summer of 1974 called Let's Make Love at Home. Now, arguably one of their finest, but the results were the same, which was a lot of promise, but it charted low and royalties never materialized. Later that year, an album was released called 3 Down 4 to go and peak number 57 on the Billboard Top R&B Albums charts, and that same year became the end of the 7-song project. Sometime during the 80s, the group members were released from prison. Franklin and Arrington resurrected the Escorts in 1981 for an unsuccessful 2-single run, with new Escorts members George Biles, James Green, Frank Harris, and Grover Troutman. They cut Love Is Like a Dream, Make Me Over Lord, Heart of Gold, and Sing a Happy Song on Knockout Records. Reginald Reggie Haynes, the Escorts' original lead singer, embarked on a solo career that fizzled quickly. His singles Get Ready to Move, and I'll Be Sweeter Than Yesterday on Escort Records bombed in 1986. In 1994, Collectibles Records released a CD of All We Need Is Another Chance and the Best of the Escorts under Sequel Records, followed by Prisoners of Soul under Priority Records. All 3 albums are considered fine efforts. Some of the Escorts' best unreleased and single songs are on these compilations, and the digitally remastered compact discs are far superior to the original vinyl releases. The Escorts have been sampled by many R&B and hip-hop artists including Jill Scott, Jay Dilla, and Public Enemy. The group are the subject of Corbett Jones' 2017 documentary film, All We Need Is Another Chance. Today, a version of the group has continued to tour under the name The Legendary Escorts. On July 11, 2020, Reginald Haynes passed away, although in an interview in 2012, Haynes stated that many members of the group are no longer here except for 2, but unfortunately I can't confirm that. Now, before we go, I have a few questions for you all. Have you ever heard about this group? If so, what is your favorite song?